Welcome to Before They Change the World, where we explore the minds, ideas, and dreams of exceptional students working on inspiring projects before they change the world. This episode is hosted by me, David, and I speak with Fayçal, who's a computer science master student at ETH Zurich and the co-founder of Alter Ego, a startup creating virtual fitting rooms to allow shoppers to try clothes on digitally on their own avatar. We speak about how Alter Ego was born and their progress so far, the challenges of developing the technology behind Alter Ego, their plans for expanding the team and the business, their business model and the potential use cases of their technology in the fashion and retail industry. As you'll soon be able to tell, Faycal is deeply passionate about fashion and cares deeply about revolutionizing this space, not only for his own convenience, but also to address sustainability issues of the retail industry today. All right, here's Faycal from Alter Ego. So I wanted to start with like an icebreaker question, which is how many items of clothing do you buy a year and how many of those are online? And yeah, what's your story with like buying?
Okay, I also start every single pitch I do like by saying, hey, my name is Faycal and I'm a shopping addict. So maybe we could clarify that. I don't know, a lot. Like when I say a lot, I'm talking about the fact that I have 6 closets in my apartment, plus 3 wardrobes, plus in the cellar I have like 5 suitcases full with clothes that I just change around the year. Yeah. At least 200 to 300 maybe pieces.
That you own or that you buy a year?
That I buy a year. And also, I buy a lot, but I donate a lot. Okay. Like every time I go to Morocco, which is like 2 months because I'm from Morocco, I just have this suitcase that I just give away to people in it. And
are the majority of those clothes that you buy online, or do you like to?
Strangely, no. I always buy in store. Okay. I just buy shoes online because like that's actually the second part of my pitch, which is I never buy online because it never fits.
Right.
And yeah, I do have like a kind of strange body morphology, which is not the best to find clothes online. And
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that kind of like the spark? For Alter Ego?
It was something else. It was more related to the amount of clothes that I had to that. Like we started by another idea. I can tell you about that later if you want. But
let's start with that.
Okay. Well, the other idea was basically that when I wake up in the morning, it takes me a lot of time to find an outfit. Like I just spend time, like having my outfits and maybe trying another one. Yeah. And then we had this idea. So I had it with my brother more or less like 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. Like I was still 18 and we were having dinner like with some friends and we were talking about this kind of fashion startup which would be revolutionary. Mm-hmm. And it was about the returns mostly, but I was more interested in dispatch, which was like you have your avatar, you have your digital closet, so every time you have an article you just scan it and you wake up in the morning and just swipe between different propositions of outfits that we give you that basically is based on what you own, what you like, where it's clean and dirty, so that you don't have to be like, okay, I want this t-shirt, oh no, this t-shirt isn't like the, how do we call it? Washing machine.
The washing machine, yeah.
Exactly. And we base that on your agenda and we propose you outfits based on that.
Awesome.
So that was the idea before Alter Ego.
Okay, yeah, so that's kind of an idea that is addressing the problem for people like you who have way too many clothes.
Yeah.
But I guess then you pivoted to another idea, right? Which is what Alter Ego is now.
Exactly. Okay. So we pivoted we saw that this idea requires the same technology more or less as Alter Ego today, and that it was just also boosting the amount of clothes you would buy because it was based on an advertisement model. Like every 3 articles you don't own, we'd propose you something. Every 3 outfits, like we'd propose you like, hey, that shirt goes well with that pant, go buy it, and you would buy it. So it was just like boosting the consumption. Was not really green in any kind. So we were not solving a problem that is like causing more waste or more CO2. We were just increasing all of that somehow, which is not totally true because there was ways to kind of you know what I mean, like balance it to not be like again on the wrong side. And by actually working on this idea, we actually fell into the issue of returns and started analyzing the problems. We were super shocked when we saw that a third of online bought articles were returned. We knew it was a lot, but not 1/3, like it's a lot. And when we saw the numbers behind that and the fact that brands are actually just wasting money on that, it causes a lot of CO2 emission. 20% of the clothes are like basically returned or just usually destroyed or burned. We were like, okay, So it's the same technology, let's go that way. And people will actually use it.
Yeah.
So we pivoted in that direction.
Nice. Yeah, it also seems like that's something that more people have an issue with, at least, like, because the first problem was for people that really are into fashion, into their look, and have a lot of clothes to choose from.
Yeah.
But the problem of buying clothes online and not knowing if they fit, I think that's much more universal.
Exactly.
And of course, like the sustainability aspect of it is better. Like there's a better mission behind it. I guess.
Didn't drop the first idea yet, so it will be for later. But like as we have like that amount of people that are like really having the problem of not knowing what to order at first, like we thought that best way it is to find like a good user base and then to throw at them like every other technology that we could have to even their shopping, make their shopping experience better, greener, or like just make it useful.
Yeah. Nice. So how do you actually solve these problems of making it easier to find a piece of clothing that fits you?
So we do not make it easier for you to find a piece of clothes at first. We make it easier for you to know whether like what you found is good for you. Right. So what you do is you go to the shopping platform. There are like normal shopping behavior on the shopping platform, etc. You have a button fit with alter ego, or try clothes virtually, depending on if it's white labeling or alter ego labeling. Then if it's the first time you see that, you create your avatar. You just take one picture standing, and we create your avatar in less than 1 minute. We can extract all your measurements, and then you directly try clothes from there. So then you see it on an avatar. There is you, your skin tone, your measurements, your body morphology, if the clothes is actually a fit. And you can also try different sizes, etc. For example, if you want to put oversize or something, we show you how an oversize would look like on you, etc. So it's more than we just solve the size that you need. We help you know like what size fits best your morphology and your skin tone at the same time. It's like you were in a fitting room, like in a in store. It's the same thing.
Okay, so from one picture alone, you're basically creating a 3D avatar of a person that is like high in fidelity in terms of like dimensions, right? Is it also high fidelity in terms of, well, you mentioned skin tone.
At the moment not yet, but like we working
that's
on
vision.
that. So that's the vision,
Okay.
So that's the vision. It would be like we also from that picture we take a few extract the skin tone, which should be not that complicated to do, to be honest. And we put it again on the avatar.
Awesome. And then you show an overlay. How do you show like how the piece of clothing fits on? So
we just dress your avatar basically automatically. So it's funny how it is done is basically like the patterns of the article are kind of automatically put around your avatar in the required body places, and then auto zoom together. So it's mostly like that. Okay. And is this like 3D model of the clothes something that gets supplied by the producer of the? That's actually our big differentiation before, like from this virtual fitting room idea. You know, we're not the first one to come with it. Like it has been an issue since e-commerce is here, it really returns, etc. So many people tried virtual fitting rooms, etc. The only thing is like, except from those that tried really too early and it was technically not possible, the ones that started more or less at a decent time, which would have shown well results, built their technology on needing 3D models from the brand. And they don't have that. Luxury brands might have a few of them, but fast fashion, like they will not create 3D models for every other article because, like, first of all, designers, etc. It's not about the designers, but it's really related too close to that. Like they work like they want, they have their things to do, they don't want other issues, etc. to start like developing some kind of 3D models for like every of the articles they do, etc. They could eventually hire some other people to do that, but then it's more costs, etc. for something that they don't see like a result there directly. And they don't do that because it's too much of articles and quantity of things that have to be created. So we kind of, with Alter Ego, decided to really see what didn't work on that side before and meet the customers where they are and only ask them for what they have. And what they have is basically, we collect sewing patterns or 2D cutting patterns, which is basically the clothes in 2D, and it's the data that they send to the manufacturers. So they send that to the manufacturers build the clothes, and us, we just get this file, and we have we're currently building a process, so we don't have it yet, that would basically just take this file and automatically do the job of the manufacturer, but on your own avatar automatically. That's how we do it. Amazing. Okay, so
the unique technology here that gives you the edge is not only the accurate reconstruction of the body model of the person with a single picture, right?
Yeah.
Which is really great. You don't need like a full body scan or like a LiDAR or something.
And we don't need your measurements. Like we don't need you to tell you like this is my chest measurement and this is my hips measurement and waist. There's also like some competitors that did that mistake. It just doesn't work. We cannot trust the user because like it would be like too much error on that side. Yeah.
So it's that plus this conversion from cutting patterns into like a 3D version of the clothing that you can fit on.
Yeah, it's putting everything together. Because like also the avatar creation is like not everything is proprietary to us. We also like are buying another software to kind of help us with that, which is like a company that is really focusing on avatar creation. It's also close related to ETH. So yeah, awesome. It's a bit of everything. Yeah.
So your co-founder is called Pietro, right?
Yes, exactly.
How did you guys meet?
So there was this class that was called Entrepreneurship at ETH. I think you might be familiar with it.
I know tech investing, but not.
Yeah,
not.
It's not the same.
Okay.
Investing or tech investment.
I think
actually they have like all these classes with more or less the same name because I think tech investing is like in the summer and it's 6 months and tech investment is only 2 weeks before
that one.
That one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like we had Alter Ego's case there this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, quite funny. But like anyway, like we started in entrepreneurship. It was my exchange year, so I was still officially at EPFL doing my exchange here. It was in the year after COVID, so 2021.
Okay.
So it's summer 2021. Yeah. So we were just entering 2021, still a lot of COVID, etc. It was that class in which we were supposed to basically create a startup business plan and pitch like the idea of the startup and the business model behind it, etc. to some investors. Yeah. So that was for 6 months. We had like classes every 2 weeks for 3 hours in which like we were plainly were like working on the startup and had coaching, etc. helping us. So we started there with first an idea of educational app, then switched to the idea of the first thing I told you about, so the closet thing. Yeah. And then switched to Alter Ego. Yeah. And from there, like we started working on Alter Ego, and at that time we were 3, but we just decided that after a while to continue just with Pietro and I because we were like mostly the most interested in continuing that. So the last pitch was super cool. I remember we had as one of the jury the head of the student project house, so Lucy, and she literally like when we started pitching, like she added us on LinkedIn directly, like not even waiting for the end of our pitch, and she thought we would be a good fit for SPH. So then we went to visit SPH. It was still that building that was under construction, so there was still like boxes everywhere, workers everywhere, etc. And we had our first meeting there, and then we decided to start there. We onboarded the project, and I thought that at this point, like in my life, I was also like younger than I am now, and I used to drop a lot of projects, like be like, let's do that, and never do it. And one thing that made me continue something I do usually is have a word. So either say to someone, we're gonna do that and that's gonna be done, or like have deadlines and have to provide some work on that side. So that's what we did with Pietro. We just like sent applications to many kind of coaching things, Swiss things, venture kick things, talked to a lot of people. And once like we had like too many things around us that we had to deliver to these people, then we just started going like that. Amazing. And since then, like I'm working full time. Pietro is working most of his time too.
Yeah. So I want to ask about that because both of you guys are doing your masters, right? What's the timing of the masters with respect to Alter Ego? What stage are you in?
Well, I hope not too many teachers hear that, but like I never went to a single class of ETH except the class from the lawyer I told you about before. And I just don't study. I study for my exams before my exams because in the end, like I don't target high grades. I just want passing grades. And I study like, for example, now I'm in the study session, like studying for like the month and I'm passing the exams. and then I will not hear about ETH until July or August again.
Right.
And that was the same in the first semester, right? So for me, like it's just that, like I'm doing my exams. When we have projects, etc., I'm trying also to put them in relation alter ego, and that's it.
Okay.
So every time I have like 5 months full alter ego, and I also work at the welcome desk in SPH, so it's also like 30% on that time, and then the exam, and then again. Yeah. And Pietro now he's so Pietro, for him it was a bit different. He was like, so he's more advanced than me in my studies, so he had to do an internship, which also we don't have to do in computer science, so it's a difference. So for 6 months he was in Singapore, and he could only work during the weekends and at night, which sometimes was also complicated because the internship was quite intense, etc. So he had that, so that was last semester, and now he's doing his thesis, so he's working also like, let's say, 60 to 70% to 80% maybe to what would be like a normal 80%, meaning like there's 2 days of the week in which like he has it for alter ego, he works on his thesis on the side, but it's for alter ego. That's where we organize all our meetings, our like important, like, you know, partner arrangements, etc. At night he usually works on alter ego again, and on the weekend fully. So for him, like that's complicated to do the both. But
so in computer science you don't have an internship, and do you have a semester project?
Yes, hopefully we will be able to do it with alter ego, and also my thesis when it gets to that. Yeah,
that's a nice thing that you're doing a startup that is you can tie it to your field, so ideally you can combine it.
That should be totally feasible. We just need to find the right lab, the right teachers, etc.
And what are the responsibilities between like how do you split roles and responsibilities between you and Pietro?
So that I think you will notice if you go further in technology side.
Okay.
I'm not doing the tech.
Okay.
Pietro is doing the tech. I mean, I'm still a computer scientist, right? So I do have a good knowledge about like what we do, what we have to do, etc. So I'm more on the consulting side, for Pietro on the tech side. So I'm never coding myself or something. I'm fully business.
I see.
So just my goal now, for example, today is to we have pilot projects that are gonna start, so I have to make sure to get the right fit on the brand side for having the right pilots, talk to these people, make sure that they have all the data we need, make sure that they're involved, make sure that their intention on the vision where we're going is clear for both sides, etc. To then be able to also get some funds to basically hire the team we need. So 2 things here. I need to find the investors that's going to invest. I need to write the term sheets, etc. and make all of that ready. I need to find the right people that we would hire in the next 2 months to push the project to an MVP. And I'm also in charge of everything that's like pitching, financials, incorporating at the moment also. So all of that, like from financial to legal to that. Wow. So I'm doing all this part, and Pietro is doing the technology. So he's focusing on the technology. Like mainly our meetings are just like, hey, okay, so we started that with this brand. They want to see that, and that. How can we do it? And Pietro is basically gonna do all the research and implement the things.
Okay. So Pietro tech, which still is a lot of different things.
It's exactly.
And you're doing like everything else, you know, hiring, fundraising, sales, marketing.
And he also has his share in that. For example, like some client meetings, etc. He has to be there.
Okay, because like when it gets when you get into the weeds, he needs to be
exactly. We are a small team with 2. Like we've been 2 for a year and a half now, but it's super good that we have this complementarity between me and him, because like it's clear like what we have to do, and then we can like work alone on our way without like having to waste I don't know how much hours on meetings, etc., which are usually like useless. That's why we can go fast. But sometimes we do work together.
Right. If someone looks at your profiles, they might think that you're both techies, right? Because you're both master students in very technical fields. So where did you actually get the background or the motivation to like fully take care of the business side of?
You just jump into it, really. Like it's you know, that's actually the reason why I went for engineering studies. Like I never wanted to be like really an engineer or like be a software developer, etc. That's not for me. I'm more of a business side person. I don't know how to define it, but it's just like basically like I'm more into like talking to soft skills, talking to people, etc. So I had a background on that before. So like, you know, like just like from my father's company, like what he does, etc. So I grew up in that. I have all the soft skills like since like I don't know. I think it's just natural.
Yeah.
And well, I'm not bragging or anything. Just like yeah, it's just natural.
Just comes to
meaning like I just like was used to see that like all my life, and like they call me sponge sometimes because you know I inhale like everything around me. So the behavior of people, like how people talk, etc. I just like absorb it, and somehow it becomes part of something that I know how to do. And that's how it worked. So I never really had to go to classes and understand how that works exactly. I just talk to people, and they tell me what to do. Like they tell me what to do. They advise me, and then I can logically
absorb
like,
it.
Just exactly. And
but you did mention that you have done some courses at ETH in this like entrepreneurship area, right?
Yeah,
so which ones were the most useful?
The entrepreneurship class at first, because like that's why we started Alter Ego for sure. Then there was this class from Anil. It was called From Science to Entrepreneur, I think. Something like that. Anil Sethi, like super good class. It's basically like 14 weeks or 13 weeks. Each week like with an associated like really topic. So fundraising, IP management, pitching, hiring, etc. And he gives you like basically everything you need to do to know as a startuper, like with no experience on the other side, on the business side, etc. to kind of go. And this was like super helpful. I did some classes from MTech, so accounting for managers, things like that. That didn't help me yet, but I know will help me. You know, just on how to work with that. Like you know, like I would have already worked with that, and the rest is like basically use some tools that are made for making it easier for you, as long as you know the thing. And on the other side, there are like some Swiss classes for coaching, etc. And we have access to a lot of coaches and advisors, so from SPH, but also from mostly Swiss and people we know around that are just like, if you have that issue, you can do that, or you could eventually do that, or I know someone that is an expert in that, you should talk to him. That's how I make things actually. Right. That's mostly the thing. Like, so for example, now we're incorporating, we need to deal with like some kind of taxes about like a thing we're doing. So just like I was talking with our main advisor, so Nicole Zing, and she was like, yeah, well, I had a coffee with a friend of Raphael, which is a lawyer again, like her husband, and he knows quite a lot of stuff about this specific thing. You should talk to him. Let's invite him for a coffee, and then that's how we do it.
Nice.
That's really that.
so now you're trying to incorporate in Switzerland. As a GmbH or AG? It's more convenient for investors usually. But how, where are you getting, because like here it's like 100K you need in capital for that? So how are you guys as students like able to cover that? So that I promised Anil I will write a template on how to do it. It's not fully defined yet how we will do it. So I'd rather wait for having that done. It's gonna be in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But basically it's about selling something to the company, to put a value in the company, to then have that minimal cash, add on that some like few thousand. So we're adding 11,000 on top of that, and then we get the So you're, there's, I think I've heard of something like this that I think Generai, one of the other startups that we interviewed, used, which was like that you value your software and then you get,
Generai, so it's something like that. It was a bit different for Decus, I think, but it's exactly that. We value the software, etc., and we do something like that. But that's what I thought in the first place, and then there was a few more complications. So then we make sure of that. Like I'll also write that book for Anil so that he can share it.
And so it's that, and then maybe I don't know if you're bootstrapping anything or if you're
we
investing
won competitions. So we never really needed money because like first we had SPH, so it was already co-working space plus a lot of things we could use. So just from coaching, legal experts that were available, etc. And we fully software, so like like we don't need to buy hardware and things like that. Then we first won. What was the name? The Swiss kind of coaching thing. So again, we had someone working with us like a lot. Just for free from our side, but they were paid by the government. Then we won venture. So it was 10k.
Yeah.
Then we won Venture Geek 1, 10k again. Then Venture Geek 2, 40k.
Right.
And yeah, for now, like it's clearly enough for what we need to do. And I'm raising also like this month 90 and something, so 95 more or less, which would allow us to hire 2 more. So it's just going like that.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Okay, so so you have money from competitions, from grants, and now you're like this 90k-ish that you want to raise now is from a business angel round?
From different business angels, yeah.
Okay.
So from one advisor of ours that is like working with us like already every week, etc. that also wants to put her money. Yeah. One colleague of hers that has this like a really experienced entrepreneur, like he basically sold companies for here that were worth like a few millions, and he kind of believes in what we do. So. Yeah. And he also wants to go back to playing the game, you know. So he wants to come back with us, and that's mostly that.
Okay, so I guess that because you're at such an early stage, I mean, you mentioned before that you want to grow a team to then build an MVP, so you're not even at the MVP stage, which means that probably you're not doing an equity round. You're not coming up with a valuation, right? No, it's like a convertible loan.
It's a convertible loans for now, yeah, exactly. So the valuation would rather be like when we have the MVP started and first paying customers. Yeah. And also it makes no sense. So like I wanted at first to raise what we need to raise for a year, which is like mostly like 600 to 700 as an equity round now, which would have been possible, but too complicated. Too complicated, too risky, and too low valuation. Yeah. So we decided to continue kind of getting like these notes, convertible loan, and have these people working with us until we can see exactly the MVP that we can provide, then have a way better valuation. I'm talking about 2 to 3 times what could have been done today, and then get that equity round and then
convert
convert everything.
Nice. So I wanted to talk a bit about the business model, because now we've spoken a lot about the vision, but in the end it's supposed to be a business, right? It's supposed to generate some kind of revenue. So what's your plan on selling this?
So basically we sell that to the brands. Okay. So it's free for the user, because in the end, like, we want people to be able to use it freely. We want like them to be happy using it, etc. So they're not paying anything, at least not for the alter ego version for returns. Meaning the virtual fitting room. So the brands will be our customers, and it actually makes sense because the brands are actually the ones losing money today on that, and they're actually the ones that will be making huge profits on that. Right. So with alter ego, basically the vision is mostly on 3 things. Reducing the returns, increasing the engagement, so boosting conversions, etc., increasing customer average order value, etc., in a nice way, and basically knowing more the customers. So there's going to be 3 things. There's going to be the direct saving on return operations. So we're talking today about, again, a third of the articles are being returned. So when you return an article, it has to be shipped back, fixed, clean, and dried. And these operations basically globally in 2020, they costed about 101 billion US dollars. So globally, that's between all the brands, etc. Right? Yeah. And for a particular brand, it can represent like up to 30% of their own profits. They're fine with it today because they're making lots of margin, etc. And this is part of the process because they have to offer free returns, etc. And they have to let their customer use it, because we say that 86% of the people won't buy online if there was not at least like an easy return process. Right. Because you just don't know, right? It's totally normal. Yeah. So they can't really like save on this cost without like really exactly. They cannot break like this region process that as it is today, otherwise they would be breaking their revenues. So they have to live with this cost. On the other side, so alter ego here, how we come. So we basically aim to reduce up to 40% of article returns in the long term. So after working 3 to 4 years with the brand, we will start first like with maybe 7-8% reducing in the first year, and then growing to that 40%. And that, like if you think about the 101 billion US dollar that I told you about in 2020, which is going to actually be more in 2025 because the e-commerce fashion is expected to triple in like this next 10 years because people are just buying more online, etc. We're saving 40 billion globally just on that, right? Like if we have the monopoly, etc. But let's say if we take 1% of that, it's already 1 billion. So that's the big part of it. So we're saving them on these costs and on the green taxes also that they will be paying because there will be less CO2 emission, less waste, etc. So they will be saving on that side too. Second, what is most important for the e-commerce is usually like conversions. So how many people are like actually engaging with this product, how many people are testing that, how many people are buying that, etc. With Alter Ego, if you can try the clothes, you will for sure be more interested into like going deeper into like what are your options within the website. You won't just go for like, I think, okay, I know what I want. No, you will also try other things, etc., which should increase the average order value here, but also boost your loyalty. Because if you buy with a brand and you actually got something that fits you, well, you will buy again.
No, I mean, of course, so returns are not only a problem for the brands, for the user, it's also a pain in the ass, right?
Exactly,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like thinking that, explaining that for the brands, they're going to be paying, but for the user, it's just like, you don't waste time.
Yeah.
You don't waste time and you know exactly what you want.
And so what's the exact product that you're selling the brand, and how does it manifest itself? Like, is it a plugin that they put on the website? Okay. And do you yourself store information about those users for when they return to that site, or do they store the model?
We can't, so that's from the brand side.
Okay.
Like, we can't say that that item has been returned or not. We just have information about the user. We do not, for example, you need a picture to create your avatar. We do not store that picture, for example. We just store the avatar.
You store it?
Yeah, but it's anonymized. So we don't know who you are, and the brand don't know who you are.
Okay.
It doesn't know who you are. It's just an avatar, like an object, a 3D object with measurements on it.
Okay.
And that's it. So you're the only one that know that.
So would you have to then take that picture every time you go?
No, you have an account. You have an account, but then like there's like all this anonymization process that we can implement, etc.
Okay.
It's not implemented yet because like we don't have a product, which is and it's gonna be like that basically.
Okay.
So you give us your photo, we create the avatar, photo destroyed. Avatar is like ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's all we know.
Yeah. Okay. And then whenever you go to like some store, Nike.com, whatever, and you're buying something, you will see some kind of extension on the website where you can log in with Alter Ego to load up your avatar and to try.
Yeah, it's done like that. So you save it somehow, like it's not really like Twint, but let's imagine that way. Like you're on the website, you have that button, you click on the button, small pop-up, log into your Alter Ego account, then virtual fitting room, and then you can try the clothes.
Okay, so that's, I guess, the first kind of business model that you guys are going to be targeting. I think I read in somewhere online in an interview you had done that there was also like a longer term business model. What can you tell me?
So that longer term is more on the data.
Yes.
It's more on the data. So basically, one thing to know is that brands, like one of their most important thing is data about the user. So that's how they prepare the next collections. That's how they know how much they have to ask for the manufacturers, how much they have to like buy resources, etc. So cotton, everything relates to that, etc. That's how we can help also. Because one thing to know is that today 20% of the articles are produced and never sold. Not even in promotions or like in like a Zalando lounge or something like that, you know, like not sold, just destroyed or like thrown away. And it's because, you know, for them also today they do have a lot of information, so they have all these KPIs, they analyze, etc. One thing is, for example, you know, like when you go to Zara and you go to the fitting room, they kind of analyze how much that article has been tried, etc. And well, I'm getting lost a bit, I'm going too much details, but in general, basically what we can do is we can say, hey, in Switzerland, we have that amount of people that we would fall into this category of body morphologies, measurements, etc. And that way they can adapt the production. So they can say, okay, so yeah, that clothes have been tried, I don't know how many times online, etc. And this country needs that amount of S, that amount of M, that amount of L for this specific article. So then we can hopefully reduce overproduction that by 1 or 2% even. It's going to be huge.
Awesome. Okay. So I was actually thinking about, when I initially scheduled to talk with you, or when I heard about the project, something clicked in my mind, which was like a possible use case for Alter Ego for an app that I'm building right now. The app is like, in short, it's like a social gifting app. It's supposed to make it very easy to give both fitting gifts that people want, but also surprising gifts. And so one of the things that we wanted to have as a feature would be that in your profile, you can put like your basic dress size and stuff like that, so that people, if they're buying a gift for you, they can check, okay, he's an M or he has this shoe size or whatever. As you can imagine, if it's already a hassle for you to find something that fits, if you're trying to buy it for someone else, it's even harder.
It's even harder. It's not possible. Like, usually you don't do
yeah.
that.
So then the idea that was sparked in my mind was like, wow, it would be actually super cool if we could also like embed, somebody's alter ego avatar
like
in our app. Yeah.
Like someone shares with you the QR code of his avatar.
Yeah.
We are thinking of doing that.
Okay.
So there's actually even another product for after is, how in McDonald's they have like these machines, like you can just buy your food like on the screen. It's something we were thinking of, like when let's say you're like in Bahnhofstrasse, you have to meet a friend for a coffee, you have 15 minutes, you want to go to Zara, but you don't have time because like your friends are waiting for you and there's too many people in the fitting rooms. What you could do is you take your avatar, your phone, you have your QR code, you scan your QR code on the machine, there's your avatar, which tell you directly everything that fits you in the store. So you have like access to all the clothes that are for you. And that way also it's good because we can, sell more of the clothes in promotions or like the things that are not really gonna be sold. So that way it's also like on consumption it's perfect. And it can be with your avatar or it can be with, I don't know, your child avatar. You have a child, you don't want to, that child is like super like, excited, etc. is running around everywhere. You cannot put him together to kind of try the jacket you want to buy him to see if it fits him. Just take his avatar, you scan the QR code there and you see if the article fits if it's the child or not. So
that's amazing.
But that's for a bit later, hopefully.
So you said that now you want to expand the team, or in the next months, right? You want to expand the team so that you can build the MVP. So what are the things that you're hiring for, and what does this MVP look like?
The MVP is basically the first part of the virtual fitting room. So it's like embedded in the store, like the API that would basically go to our database, retrieve the data from the user and the data of the brand. So on our database, so it's like all the cloud management, etc. The system that goes like back and forth, etc. That's on the software development side. So we already hired someone to build that. On the other side, it's basically working for the 3D, for the virtual fitting rooms. So there's work on the avatar. Sometimes it have to be done on the avatar. So first making it smoother, making it more like, kind of, we call it like a virtual fitting ready. So, like handling every task that make the avatar usable for virtual fitting rooms. So that's on one side. And on the other side is basically developing all the needed tasks to go from that swing pattern I told you about to having clothes on the avatar.
Right.
So it's this two parts. So it's basically like computer vision, good knowledge of like 3D modeling software, CADs, etc. That's it.
Awesome. Yeah. And I guess also some work on APIs and like infrastructure with like integration with some kind of pilot customer, right? Yeah. And have you already chosen what pilot customer or brand is going to be working?
Yeah, so we have a lot. A lot of brands are interested actually.
Oh, cool.
For now, the pilots we're doing is more like on a kind of in-house level. So what we do is we get the data from the brand. So how it works is I send an NDA to the brand because swing patterns are like super important for them. So it's like their babies, it's like their know-how. So I'm sending an NDA, meaning that I will not be giving your information to your competitors, right? So that we get the information, we work with the data a bit, we find like 20 models. And on these models, so different male, female, tall, shorter people, more like imposing people, more thinner people, and we basically dress these people in real life with the clothes, and we dress their avatars with the data we got from the brands. And this is just to show like how it would look like in the future. So that we already do with a few brands in Switzerland. So there's Montagnard, hopefully we will start with. So we have the meeting this week again to see where we go. We have a child brand, it's called Namook. We have a brand from like two brilliant people from St. Gallen that started like a renting platform. So you can just go rent a dress on that shopping platform. It's called Manuja. We will work with them, and we have a few others in Brazil, in France, etc.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so these brands that you're currently in partnership with, it's really like a pilot project where it's not going to be commercially used.
Even, yeah.
Okay,
it's not even going to be like a commercial use, no integration done.
Yeah.
But it's like the pre-pilot, and on the drums, basically they have like after like if they're happy with the kind of workshop we're organizing, which they see the people with the real dresses and their avatars, then we move to the next step, which is gonna be like soon, in a few months, let's say maybe May or June, in which we actually integrate a part of our software in their website, and people would be allowed to try on like, I don't know, maybe like 2-3 t-shirts, a jean, a dress, a jacket or two, and that's
Okay, nice. Do you have any dream brands that you'd personally love to collaborate with?
Ralph Lauren.
Okay.
Ralph Lauren and Uniqlo, like it's my favorite brand. Like if you see me enter a Ralph Lauren shop, you will understand. Like,
Nice.
And otherwise, addict, because we have good connections with them. Addict is the owning house of Zara, Bershka, Pull&Bear, Massimo Dutti. Like it will be our biggest client, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Wow. But yeah, so on the tech side, what have been the major challenges for you guys?
On the avatar, we work from one picture. So retrieving all the information from one picture, also the backside, complicated. The 3D fitting, so we started by using like a software that was developed by a bigger company that's called Zero 3D, and they are focusing on the design side. So for us it was okay, but on a later stage we wanted to be more independent. So like just understanding exactly how things are done on their side. And kind of just putting that on paper for now, like with the exact technology we need to use, was a bit of a challenge, which is solved now. But no, technically, there was nothing that was really stopping us up to now, except that thing of information from the back from just one front picture.
I see. And how much of your work or your studies from ETH are you putting, and this goes for you and Pietro as well, are you like transferring, like that knowledge from your courses and projects into Alter Ego?
You should ask my co-founder on that side, because
you haven't transferred much yet.
I haven't transferred much. I mean, to be honest, there are some things that were not taught to me at ETH, but were taught to me through ETH. I think that's the most important thing we learn at ETH also. I mean, for me, like studying at ETH is not like, knowing how to use that function in SQL or something. For me, it's like having that amount of work and be able to cope with it like with no stress and actually make something and succeed, right? So it's just like more shaping your brain than actually getting like knowledge on that side, because anyway technology is evolving today like so fast that if you study today, in 10 years you will be totally using something different. So the most important is like you as a human, how you think, and this have been taught to me by ETH and EPFL. So seeing like that size of papers you have to understand in 1 week. Right? Facing that and then facing Alter Ego is like, I've done worse before. I mean, honestly, no. Like, it's a lot of work, but like, I'm not scared. Like, I'm less intimidated by like huge amount of works, and that's thanks to EPFL and ETH. Right. So the classes never really put something into it. Maybe like some things I could have done like from like craft theory classes or things like that were more like on how to optimize some part of our pipeline, but nothing
So I think in one of the interviews that you have online, you said that you wouldn't consider yourself an entrepreneur right now. And that's because, I don't know if these are your words, but you would only do that when you see it as a success or when, so what does success look like to you for Alter Ego?
There's success for being an entrepreneur. So it will be like, not I'm just like like a startupper guy. I'm doing something. I'm raising funds, talking to investors, which is what lots of people here in Switzerland and like everywhere in the world do. Like they call themselves entrepreneur with nothing like really done, right? And for me, when a product will be delivered to market and customers will be paying and happy with it, then I will call myself an entrepreneur. But that will not be a success for Alter Ego. For me, a success with Alter Ego would either like really have that amount of clothes that were not returned anymore, and that amount of users using Alter Ego and happy using alter ego. So like happy with the clothes they get when they order with it. And when that reaches a certain level, which is not really defined yet, but let's say, like reaching a level that would allow me to close anti-text, so Zara, etc. happens, then I would call it a success.
Okay, nice. Cool. And so even if you're not calling yourself an entrepreneur, I'm just gonna say you've had an entrepreneurial journey so far.
Yeah.
What has been the most rewarding part of it so far?
The network, honestly, you get to know so many people, and like you get to see so many different things. So for me, the rewarding part was like all the journey. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm super happy with everything, from like the pitches we did, the recognition we got from whether it is like the competition we won, so Venture, which is like still the biggest competition in startups in Switzerland, or like Venture Kick, which is also like more common, but like it's a recognition like to kind of have pitched to that board of jury like that are like experts like and like way senior compared to what we are, and have them like involved in that, or the media, etc. So this is on the recognition part, but for me it's like more like what as a person I learned, like from everything, like from how the company is made, how the lawyers work together, how this bigger company like work within like their different departments, etc. What are people interested in? What are people not interested in? How people talk? How do you get people interested to talk to you, etc. So all these things. Yeah, which is mostly soft skill things, but it's you get like a few slaps in the face before understanding how to actually do it. Yeah.
Right. And talking a bit about your journey, specifically with fundraising. So you mentioned, most of your funds right now have come from Venture Kick, right? Which is a grant that is in different phases.
Yeah.
What would you say are the things that have contributed the most to you having success with that brand? With that grant. Is it the way the way that you guys pitch? That the team is the right to do the job? Is it a combination of?
To be honest, when we see the team, when you don't know the team and you don't get time to spend with our team, you don't see the quality of the team. C'est-à-dire, like Pietro and I, we're both tech guys. Pietro is doing robotics, so he's not even like a computer scientist as such, even though when you know him, you clearly see that he is, because most of his projects were related to actually things that we're doing, etc. And on my side, you think I'm a regular computer scientist, which is, well, I'm technical, etc. So we don't have diversity in the team. So that means we're just two tech people. But when you get time to spend with us, then you can see that actually I'm more efficient in business than computer science. I still have computer science background to back all of that, and that Pietro is actually freaking good at what he does. So then you actually get to see that the team is good. So it's definitely not the team as such that helped us in these things. Maybe the potential of the project, because like if you understand the issue problem correctly and the pain of the brands, you directly see that this is a multi-billion-dollar project. So just if it succeeds, it's a big win. And if it doesn't succeed, well, for us it's peanuts. That's how they talk usually.
Right.
Like it's a risk. It's their job to take this risk also, and so that helps a lot. But I think it's our motivation. It's a thing we call it. I call it like with a friend Jessica, that is also like an entrepreneur. She does the LG things, packaging. We call it the crazy eyes. Like when I pitch my project, you see that like I'm not dropping the case, and that's helping a lot. Awesome. I think that's what helps the most. Okay,
so what about things like the quality of the demos that you have now? Is it that you're selling the fact that you have a technology edge that is not available anywhere else? Is that helping you a lot, do you think, or traction with existing brands like these pilot customers?
Well, this is new, so we never used that before. Definitely one thing. So like these pitch competitions, what they see is what you do. It's the problem. Do I understand it correctly? Is it big enough? Is it worth my concern? Then, but what do you bring new? So what's your unique selling proposition? How is your IP? So is it like yours? How does it differentiate from everyone else, etc.? Competitors, also related to the two previous ones, like is it big enough? Is there some? You need to have competitors.
Right.
That's super important. And like, can you cope with them, right?
Yeah.
Then the market. what you did with that market yet. So did you talk to some people, etc. Then the team and the advisors, and then they look at the roadmap, the financials, etc. But for them, that's specifically the financial reports. For like any good investor or any good part of jury, like if they pay too much attention to that, it means that they're not good. Just it, because it will change 100 times, and they all know that. Right. So these are the main important things. And your question was what helped us a lot on that side?
Yeah, no, more on the technology side and competitors. Like, did you guys prove to some extent that you guys on a technical level were able to do things that have not been shown before?
We had a hard time doing that, to be honest. Like, also, like everything, like when you pitch to this thing, you have 10 minutes and you don't have time to explain everything in details. We had a hard time doing that, specifically like a venture, for example, startup competition. The competitive analysis was like, these 2 hours with like this thing here and this thing here, and basically there were like not enough information on how we truly differentiate. So that was not how, like every Q&A I was destroyed on competitive and technology like differentiation, which is actually like, in my opinion, was clear that we're actually way beyond what has been done today, and is actually something that has the potential to work compared to what has not been done before. So we just swiped everything to Venture Kick 2, and that worked well. That worked out really well, because I just took, okay, the others are doing that, this is shit. Sorry for the word, but it's actually. And we do that, and this is the big differentiation. And on the other side too, and we do that. And then like took them like example by example, took 3 minutes just on that, and then it changed. So it's major important. Like it was third of my pitch. Yeah, so I had a question specifically about competitors. Who would you consider your main competitor? So there's like 3D Look in the US. There's doing something really similar, etc. But again, they need the 3D models of the clothes. So that's the differentiation between us. And they've been in the game since I think 2010. So it's a while, and they still don't really have anything. You can try clothes, right? Then we do not consider them competitors at all. They're way too big for that, and also like they're a different market. Zalando. They're creating that, so they bought a startup from ETH 2 years ago, Meeple, for like a nice number, and they keeping that for themselves. So for them, it's a way to gain competitive advantage. If they're one of the only ones who propose that solution, it's perfect for them. So they just acquired like the whole startup, etc. And now they're developing that technology, and it's been 2.5 years already, I think. And they released a pilot lately with Puma. So on their own retailer platform. So it's not our competitors, but it's a good market validation. That's how I call it. Walmart is doing the same in the US. They bought a startup for 200 million 1 year ago. Same thing as Zalando, for themselves only. And basically like that kind of...
No, this is great. It's great validation for you.
It's great validation on our side. That helps a lot, I think, also like specifically from a VC perspective.
So I have a question. Like, since this is kind of a recurring pattern, have you ever been asked the question of what if a brand that is big approaches you? Because it seems like a good acquisition for the brand, right? It's like keeping an edge for themselves.
Yes.
What happens? Like, is your mission specifically to serve the broader market of brands and to be, like a good for everyone, or would you consider being?
We see it like that.
exclusive?
So we see it like that. We would like to be a solution for most of the brands, either small, or also like small brands that don't really have an IT team or can't afford to buy a startup, right? So that we kind of serve the whole market, and we kind of don't have that, because otherwise it would be kind of catastrophic. If there's no startup proposing that for smaller brands, then we go to only major players again having all of these shares, and small brands again left to nothing. So that would be the vision. Then I'm not stating that if we get a good deal.
Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren, like, I would love to work with them, but like working with only Ralph Lauren would not be enough for sure. Like for the vision I have for Alter Ego. But if we have, like a major player that will want Alter Ego for nice reasons, which would be like diminishing distributions, but also other things they would love us to develop, then we might discuss exclusivity. But otherwise, no. And not before. And depending on the the state of the market, etc., and where everything is going. You never can kind of predict all these decisions at first. It's gonna also be like not just my decision, I guess, at one point. So
right, of course. Yeah, I'm wondering, like, now, how far... So Pietro, I spoke to a bit before, and he told me that he's going to graduate in about 3 months, or a bit less. What's your plan?
Later. I'm taking my time. So, well, I had 35 credits last year. This semester started like a week ago for me, but I have 24 credits in the next 3 weeks. Yeah. So that would hopefully be 60. Then I have a lab to do next semester and a few things. So 1 year.
Okay.
In 1 year, I might be done with my thesis. Like 1 year and a few months.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. And at that point, I guess, so Pietro would go full time when he graduates. Is
exactly.
that the idea? Yeah. Then you would hire a few other people to join, more on the technical side, right? Mm-hmm. And so you would continue to like lead the business side while finishing your
exactly.
masters. Okay.
So Pietro is going full time in March. Yeah. We have 2 people starting half time in February, 50%, and we hope to like close this round by the end of the month, so that we have again 2 people starting full time in late February / early March, and I'm considered full time. So.
Yeah. And so I want to ask you about the hires, because hiring is like one of the most difficult or important things for an early stage startup, right? Because like the people that you're hiring, you might have to start seeing them as like leads of huge teams if the startup goes well at some point. So how did you approach that?
I know a lot of people.
Okay.
Like, I really talk a lot, too much usually. I think you noticed that here. So like I really know a lot of people, and I don't like. I usually so for when we did this round of hiring, like we sent out the interview like messages, etc. But like there are some people I know how they work, and I know like that they don't work for working. They work to make something. And that they're really concerned with what they do usually, like I'm not looking for the best talent, I'm looking for people who will care about what they do. And that is quite, like you can see it, it's a lot of gut feeling. So that's how we do the hiring. Okay, so basically. You know of some people and get some applications, I guess, and then you meet with them. We run the interviews and we see like, we see how it works. Okay. It's complicated, especially for a young startup, like the hiring process, like you're so bound to make mistakes, bad hires, and it's super like damaging. You lose a lot of time and money, and you burn cash, which you don't really have. So you're hiring, I guess, lower salaries than usual, right? But who cares? Depending. Like if it's part-time position, no. If it's a full-time position, yes. Yeah. And are these people that you're hiring graduates, or are they also students? So for now that we took, it's also students, but that are graduating soon. That's what we're targeting. So people just either before their thesis and then have the opportunity to do the thesis with us, hopefully, are like graduates. So these people are the theses that are finishing soon, so that they can start with Alter Ego after full time, or just fresh graduates. Okay. We're not really targeting any senior position or something. Okay, sounds good. So I wanted to ask you a bit like 90 degrees question, but it's also on fashion, but it's fashion in the metaverse. Which has been spoken a lot about since the metaverse hype. What do you think of that? Keep them close, look what's happening, and if there's an opportunity, go. Literally. Like, we're not a fan of the metaverse. Neither my team, neither I are like a big believer of like what a hype it will be. Also for shopping, because I don't see myself putting like glasses, go in a world and then shop. As well go buy to just virtual clothes. Exactly. Like I don't see that trend happening. If it happens, we for sure would be like players in it, because we do have like the technology takes. I think it's fair to say that you're probably one of the most famous faces at SPH. I'm always there. You're always there. It feels like you live there. I wanted to ask you. There wouldn't be a better person to ask. What is SPH and what makes it so special for you? It's the community, Like I think SPH for me, like all these people that you used to see, etc., and all these different people. Like you have like from people that are graduated already working on their startup that is like well going, etc. People just like figure out what a startup is or like what a project is. So there's the startup side, then there's the makerspace side. I'm super glumpsy, so I never go there. Like otherwise I might kill someone or something. So I don't. I'm super hyped to see like what they do and what they build with it. It's like a kind of je retrouve tout in Picsou. I don't know if we say that in English, but it's like the crazy inventor, you know, like that are always inventing things. So I see some people like that. It's like super fun to see. And yeah, for me it's mostly that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and you were also like manager at the
no, I'm not manager
desk, or not?
I'm at the welcome desk, so I do the welcome desk. It's a student job, basically 30%.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
That's also why I'm always there and know everyone because everyone goes through me to enter. So
right.
I get to
just
see
yeah. Nice. So I wanted to ask you also a question about a future. So if you think like 5 to 10 years from now, how do you think we will shop, and what role do you think AI is going to play in like the fashion scene more broadly?
Many roles. Shopping, I think hopefully it's not going to be that much different from now. Maybe you will be shopping more online, which is expected, like way more online, but there's going to still be shops, physical stores, so at least the main ones, and there's going to be less, like way less physical stores, which is also good because physical stores are like really bad, like for environment reasons, management reasons, insight, etc. like really bad. So it's good to go that direction. I think that the physical stores that are going to be available are also going to be way more intelligent, and it's going to be also good because as there will be less, we will invest, Founder Fashion will invest more in the ones they have, which would be good. So I would not be surprised by having this kind of products I told you about, so the screening, which like you can directly see what's there, etc. I see eventually some applications allowing you to have directly a fashion feedback from like an expert, like an AI trained expert in fashion, which is something we would like to also be part of. So like some, like, you know, like just taking, you know, fashion is about like mixing things together, mixing colors, mixing textiles, etc., mixing patterns, etc. We can learn about that. We can train an AI that will basically tell you, hey, that shirt goes extremely well with that pant. So that's also platforms to exchange directly with your friends, etc. So a lot of technology on that side, and on the e-commerce side too. Yeah. And I see that so for the user side, in the front and in the back also. So the collaboration between the brand and manufacturers, how the transport is done, how the like you know, how content is done, not at content but like inventory is managed, etc. Things like that. Okay. Yeah. So and like closer to what Alter Ego is doing. Like the initial product that you'll have, which will solve the the problem mostly, is like you need a model that is accurate in terms of volume, right, and dimensions, but like the fidelity of it doesn't have to be super good, I guess, initially. Like just to see if it fits, it's fine to just have like a gray shirt on a gray 3D model of a person. For starters, but then the color is really important. Okay. Like the color is important. Okay. Yeah. So you guys want to move closer and closer to like a higher, like a super high fidelity representation of how that piece of clothing will look. Exactly. Right. Okay. That's the way. That's where we're going. Today, like we can do things that are already like quite good. Like also like the brands don't really care, but luxury fashion, you know, like that kind of like. I don't know, soudure like on the button here, like for like that Dior jacket is super important. Yeah. So then we go that way, right? Yeah. Cool. So the last part is a bunch of like intuition-based questions, which you can just answer like in one word or in as long as you want. And yeah, they're really like gut questions that you shouldn't really overthink too much. But yeah, so the first one is, what is fashion to you? Mood for me. Like it really represents my mood. Like I don't know, like my outfit will define my personality during a day for sure. Okay. Yeah. So if an angel gave you $1 million right now, what would you do with it? Hire what we need exactly, and I think keep the rest also to just like for cash flow reasons, etc. Like not hire like 20 people to go, like just hire what we need and keep the rest for later. Yeah. If someone did that with a condition that you go full-time right now, what would happen? I would convince them that I'm already full-time. Literally. Right. Which is easy to do. Yeah. So what gets you out of bed most mornings?
clothes?
Yes.
Getting dressed?
So either like my breakfast if I have a really nice thing to eat, but always just the outfit I'm gonna be wearing that day, and just to show up in the office, you know.
Yeah.
Also that walk like to the office, I like it. So it's
Okay.
I like that.
What advice would you give yourself back in high school?
Continue like that. I don't know. That seems pretentious. Like I don't know. Just be you. I don't know.
Okay. Nice. Who do you look up to?
I don't have anyone I look up
Like role
to.
models,
No.
idols? Okay.
Don't really have one.
Okay.
Don't really have one.
So when you have like an ambition, it's not like you're thinking, I want to be like this person or like that. It's more like, I want this to happen. I want this to be a reality.
Yeah, I really, I'm more like, I want that person, like, to be a reality than I want to be like him. I never really compare myself to the others.
Yeah.
Like for me, everyone has, you know, like for me, life is also based on a few things that led you to a place and then a lot of different paths again. And this is a lot of chance and things you kind of pull together to be there.
Yeah.
So for me, like, it's impossible to compare to that other person that has done that, because for sure that person would have been like facing other situations. So no.
Right. Yeah, like you would find it too constraining in a way. Yeah.
Clearly too
Okay. Do you think alter ego will be your last entrepreneurial endeavor?
I hope not. I hope not. No, I think at one point, you know, like when I would have built with Pietro what we want to build, I think it's gonna be, you know, like more things running alone and more time for us to go to the next adventure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. I think we've already answered this, but what's your favorite brand?
Ralph Lauren.
And what's your favorite piece of clothing
That
that you own?
I own.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's not even Ralph Lauren. It's I think it's like a blazer that you can see me with like on many of the pictures.
Yeah.
It's Eleganzo. It's from Spain. I love that blazer. I don't know why. Like it just like I love it.
Yeah. Is it like this magenta color? Or?
It's blue and has like kind of. It's like the Scottish pattern that he uses. It's blue with this kind of like red things. In it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any final advice on someone that wants to start?
Jump in. Yeah,
okay.
Jump in it.
Okay.
For a bit, like jump in the project. Sorry. Yeah, just jump in the project and like talk to people as much as you can. Like talk. Everything is on the talk, literally. And you learn everything from that.
Right. Yeah. So how can people, like as a parting thought, how can people find out more about you, about Alter Ego?
So we're reviewing redoing the website, so don't go today, but to go maybe in a few weeks. Alterego.ai, so alter-ego.ai. LinkedIn. There's my LinkedIn is quite active. Otherwise, just come see me at SPH. You're always there, like literally.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot for the conversation. I learned a lot, and yeah, this was so enjoyable. You're like really passionate about this very clearly.
I
see the
you see the crazy eyes. No,
yeah.
Right. So yeah, but I hope it was like clear and like I didn't get lost in many ways, like I do usually. But thank you for having me here. In any case. Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please follow or subscribe to the show on whatever platform you use. And don't forget to share this podcast with anyone interested in entrepreneurship, university student life, and the rising minds and technologies of the future before they change the world.